Hello students, today we will discuss about sectors in terms of ownership. So dear students, this is the last topic of the sectors of the Indian economy. So students, as you know that the economic activities also can be classified on the basis of ownerships. That means who owns the assets and who is responsible for delivering services. So on the basis of this ownership, there are two sectors of the economy, that is such as public sectors or private sector. So in the public sectors, the government who provides all kind of services to the citizens, and here the government who owns the assets and provide every kind of services to the citizens. That is why it is called government sector. So the examples are the Indian Railway, the Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, the postal services. These are some of the best examples which comes under the category of the public sector. So dear students, as you know that the purpose of this public sector is not just to earn the profits or to make profits, but to give services to the nations, services to the citizens. So here, how the government is raising money? The government is raising money through taxes and rendering services in the nations. So here, the private sectors who are owning the assets, who has the ownership of assets, and after having the ownership of assets, delivery services which are lying in the hands of individuals as well as in the hands of private companies. They are such as Hindustan Unilever Limited, Tata Tisco, Reliance Industries. These are some of the best examples of the private sectors companies who has the motives of making more profit. So here the private sector companies, they earn more profits and provide services to the nations here. And here in India, the public sectors which is predominating the mining activities, the power generations, the healthcare facilities, and at the same time the educations. So all this category which coming under the responsibility of the public sector, and at the same time we see the private sectors which is predominating the agricultural sector, the trade activities, the hotel, the manufacturing of goods. All these are coming under the category of private sector. So students, we will learn now about the role of the public sectors as well as the government sectors. So what is the role of the public sectors? As we know that the public sectors which plays a very vital role in the nations, which provides all kind of facilities to its citizens to develop the nations. So since the public sectors that plays a very important role, as we see that there are certain kind of duties and responsibilities that the government has towards its citizens, towards the nations to develop the country. So the responsibilities such as developing infrastructures. So here, how the government is working? It is doing by developing the transportation sector, developing the power generation sector, developing the communication sector, developing the heavy industries, constructing the bridges, making roads, as well as providing the railway services. constructing the railway network. So these are the responsibility the public sector has. And what the public sector is doing? Developing the transportation sectors, the powers and communications, developing the heavy industries, developing the bridges, constructing the roads, constructing the railway network. All these are the important role of the public sector. Apart from that, as we see that the public sectors which used to develop the backward regions, used to generate the employment opportunities in the backward area, because to eradicate the problems of employment, the problems of poverty, the public sectors used to establish industries in the backward regions and provide employment opportunities to the backward classes, provides different kind of sectors which used to develop the backward regions. So as we know that when the industry comes, there are other areas which comes into being: the banking sectors, the insurance sectors, the transportation activities, the trade activities. All these things are being added when we develop the backward regions by establishing the industries. Apart from that, as we see that the public sectors as well as the government sector, it used to encourage the private sectors to develop the small scale industries and to create the employment opportunities for the peoples. That means the public sector is always encouraging, inviting all private companies, inviting all private sectors to come to the backward area, come to the different parts of the nations, establishing their small scale industry, and always gives them opportunity to provide employment opportunity to the peoples, and at the same time encourage them to provide all kind of facilities for the growth as well as for the development of the nations. Then apart from that, my dear children, as we see that the public sectors which used to support the farmer also, providing the insecticide, the pesticides, the hybrid seeds in a very lower rate, providing the Kisan loan facilities, providing different kind of insurance schemes. Then when the cultivation is done with, during that time the government sector is buying the food grains with a very minimum support price. So here what the government is doing, always encouraging farmers to be engaged in doing different kind of cultivations, multiple cultivations, so that the farmers will be developed and improved in a society. So dear students, as we see that the public sector is having a very leading role in the society. At last we see the public sectors which used to develop the health care facilities, establishing the hospitals, providing the incentive care center, providing the medical facilities, then appointing the best doctors to look after the health of the peoples. So who used to do that? It is the government sector. Apart from that, as we see, the government is providing free and compulsory educations to all its children, providing free and compulsory educations to the society. Why? Because we are the future of the nations. The government provide free educations, compulsory educations, midday meals, providing all kind of equipments, and the government try to develop the society. So here the healthcare facilities, the education facilities, all these are given to the backward community, to the poor peoples. The government is providing scholarship, the government is providing education loan, the government is providing every kind of facilities so that each and every one will be developed and improved in the society. And finally, my dear children, as we know that this government sector is having a very leading role in the society, providing special care and attentions to these problems of malnutrition, as we see that providing very special care to the high infant mortality rate, because in order to develop the society here, government is looking into the problems of malnutrition, high infant mortality rate, and providing safe drinking water, and providing housing facilities to the peoples, then providing incomes to the peoples, providing different kind of schemes so that peoples will be developed in the society. So these are the major roles the public sector has towards the nations, towards the society, towards the nations to develop the peoples. So my dear children, finally as we understood that the public sectors, the government sectors has a very important role, very vital role in developing the nations, in developing the society, providing every kind of facilities, developing this society by building hospitals, providing schools facilities, providing education facilities, providing employment opportunities, and trying to develop the whole nations. So this is how we understood that the public sectors as well as the government sector has very important role towards its citizens, towards the nations to develop the country. Thank you so much for listening to me.